We have risen from the ashes to school the masses. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Scholars of Wrestling Show. I'm your man behind the microphone, Scholar Jeff. Joining us this week, as always, the OG Undisputed Scholar himself. He is Scholar Tarek. Scholar Tarek, how's life treating you, sir?
Life is treating me very well. It is the first episode of my birthday month, so I am very excited on that. And we have the return of Bad Blood and the return of the traditional Hell in a Cell. Not the gimmick Hell in a Cell, but the traditional Hell in a Cell. The Hell in a Cell that actually means something. The Hell in a Cell that people are actually afraid to go into and just completely annihilate one another instead of just, oh, it's the get it's that it's the pay-per-view. So you get a Hell in a Cell. You get a Hell in a Cell. Everyone in this Okay, everyone on this card. That's much better. Everyone on this card gets a Hell in a Cell. No, no
Nope,
more of
not
that
this time.
nonsense. No more of that nonsense.
Just one and only one, because that's all we need, and that's the way we like it, dang it.
Except it's not the
Speaking
main event. Hmm.
but speaking of the way we like it, joining us this week is also another undisputed scholar in his own right. He is Scholar Brian, who also so happens to be the current reigning Scholars of Wrestling world champion. He is once again Scholar Brian. Scholar Brian, how are you feeling down there, sir?
I'm feeling pretty good now that I got the lights back on and
Of course.
the internet moving. Last week I let Scholar Pete uh have all the fun for himself. Well, apparently this week on prediction day, okay, I have to carry this whole little thing. So I'm uh I'm excited to get my picks in, defend my title, and stay on top of this mountain.
Yep. Keep
After all, what is a hurricane anyway? What is
Who
that
needs them?
nonsense? Whatever. Just a bunch of
speaking
clouds.
speaking of which, Brian, did you hear all the trash talking Pete was going on and trying to recruit Jeff as his tag team partner to go against the Undisputed Scholars?
Of course. Of course I did. I did try every little trick in the book, Pete. It doesn't matter.
It's just last
Okay.
week was essentially it's like, all right, that's it. Jeff is going to be my tag team partner, right, Jeff? Actually, yeah, he's my tag team partner. Not even giving you a say.
It's funny you say that because if memory serves, I never actually did confirm or deny if I was actually taking Pete's offer. Maybe I'm still thinking about it. Maybe we're conspiring new ways in order to challenge the undisputed scholars, undisputed blah, 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 whatever you want to call yourself this week. Maybe, just maybe, I might just take Pete up on that offer someday. You never
Well,
until
know.
you
let
until you
let
become an
me get
undisputed scholar, and then in that
let
case, we're
me
just going
give
to be
you
like,
some
"Welcome to the
advice.
undisputed blah blah blah."
And
Yeah,
here comes
let me
here
give you
comes the comments, of course,
no.
naturally.
Let me just give you some advice, okay? From someone who's been on top of this mountain. Okay. You you make picks with your heart a lot, and it always seems to let you down. I think you should go more with your brain, a little bit more with your brain. You'll probably do a lot better. You'll probably do a lot better. We would like to see you on top of the mountain with us. We started this whole thing together. We'd like you to take that final step. All you need to do, get rid of the heart a little bit. Cut out the heart, keep your
Just
keep the head and roll with it. That's
just
how
sell out
we
and
have
sign the
got.
checks, huh? Just sell out and sign the checks.
Is it really selling out knowing that you accomplished everything that the Scholars of Wrestling has to offer?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Well, then I
Except
guess you could stay at the bottom.
Yeah, we'll just Brian and
it
I will just
used to be
continue reigning
about the
supreme.
music, man.
It's
In
all
all
Yes,
about
serious,
but then we got a
yeah.
taste of the fame.
It's like it's all about the money, even though this is really all the money we can have right now. Yeah.
We operate on a budget of 35 cents because that's the way we
35.
likes it.
It's too rich for my blood. I'll
Just
give
buy a
you
nickel sport.
25 cents. It's the pizza guy. If anyone can know that reference, I applaud you. How much for the
But we
toilet
can't we
seat,
can't
bro?
mess around with all these references and inside jokes. No, because we got some bad blood to work through. That's right. It is time to predict Bad Blood 2024. But before we get to all of that, there is one little important beat of important wrestling related news, and we're going to handle it the right way in the right place. We're going to peek behind that curtain and check in on a little segment we like to call Backstage News.
Indeed. As you said, Fool, we'll go behind that curtain as we always do every week or every time we record and just go. Oh shit, I don't have my water. And check in on a little.
Backstage news.
News.
Shit.
Missing the clear liquid, man.
Oh, I'm gonna go get it. I actually left it upstairs. I'll go quickly get it.
Hey,
Okay.
AEW got the bag, man.
All right. So I guess on that note, we're going to delay for what? Maybe 30 seconds while Tarek is getting his beverage so he doesn't
No,
get
no
his throat
delay.
dry.
No delay. Just go ahead. Just go without. Just I'm still listening. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, never mind then. I can't, damn it, I can't talk trash about Tarek now. Anywho, we can't talk trash about AEW either because as Scholar Brian just said, yeah, they got the bag. AEW, as of this week, has finally announced their new media rights deal. They have a new TV deal worth a minimum of 185 million per year for 3 years, and that does include airing their shows on Max. It's official starting next year, and that includes their pay-per-views, albeit at a much reduced price. We don't have exact figures for the price reduced rate on pay-per-views as they're airing on Max, but even so, a lot of talk has been happening recently of what the next media rights deal for AEW was going to look like. Uh, Brian, let's start off with you. When you first heard about this, did you have any initial impressions on what this deal, how good this deal is, and what this means for AEW going forward?
For me personally, this is the best that AEW could have gotten. Like this was exactly what they wanted. You got the streaming rights with Max. You got it was never going to be able to be like the WWE network on Peacock or anything like that. You weren't going to be able to get the PLEs for the same for just the price of Peacock, or you weren't going to be able to get the pay-per-views for just the price of Max. That wasn't how that was going to work. Anybody who thought it was going to work like that, I don't know what to tell you. It's HBO. They don't do that. But okay, first of all, whoever was talking $1 billion deal, uh, like those people were talking about that like 6 months ago. That AEW could get $1 billion deal. That was never in the cards. All right, that it's the only reason the WWE can pull that off is because they were around for 30 years before they were actually able to pull a deal like that. Okay, for a company that's 5 years in, this is actually very, very impressive. That uh, that WBD was willing to put this much of an investment into your company. It's a big deal, and it shows that internet discourse. Okay, it means nothing because AEW all it has to do is uh, is meet the network's expectations. And with this deal, that this tells you that they have gone above and beyond the their expectations because
Yeah.
they're going to be making profit now. They're 5 years in, they're making profit, and that's impressive.
Yeah, I was listening to Busted Open Radio the day after this deal was officially announced, and they had a guy on whose job it was, I don't know what the exact title is, I don't recall at this point, but he did mention that he pays attention to media rights of sports companies and where everyone's at. He said that the numbers that AEW are getting right now are very good. Like you said, they're not WWE numbers, but frankly, they don't have to be. They may not be in WWE numbers, but they are on par with things like the US Open. That is definitely in that ballpark that they got with sports rights deals. And really, considering where we were at, just again, it's only been 5 years. AEW is still, in many ways, looked at as a startup. And for them to get a deal that good, at least on cable and stream on a major streaming service like Max, you're right. This is a huge deal. I'm sure we aren't going to really feel it as fans, but it sort of throws the entire quote that CM Punk said about, okay, this isn't a real business. It's just gonna, it'll last for as long as Tony Khan wants to finance it. No, all signs point to, yeah, AEW is still here and it's more profitable than it's ever been. It is a viable alternative for not just the wrestling fans, but for actual wrestlers. And especially now that we've got more champions of the brand than ever, AEW is looking real damn good right now. Well, what do you make of this offer? What was your reaction when you saw it? What do you think it means for AEW going forward?
My initial response to it was just I couldn't be more ecstatic for them. I mean, just getting some AEW content on Max. I actually saw the Busted Open radio. I believe the guy's name was Austin Karp
That sounds about right.
about how like his views on it. And yeah, it's for a company that's been around for only 5 years and to get $185 million deal like this, all I can say is just to add on to the potential Shane McMahon to AEW. Just here comes the money. Here comes the
Mm,
money. Money, money, money,
mm.
money, money, money.
Dollar, dollar.
But yeah, I'm very happy for them, and it's good that this basically shuts up all the naysayers, the Eric Bischoffs, the Jim Cornettes that are just basically,
The
well,
CM Punks.
the CM Punks that are just really just counting down, trying to count down the days of AEW, and now this deal is just basically, as some put it, just pushing the goal line back of like, oh, when is AEW done? Now I just look at it as just for Eric Bischoff specifically, him just being bitter that Dynamite has lasted longer than Nitro. Um,
That was a wild statistic, by the way, that I never even realized before that because really, like I told you, fool, like when I started watching wrestling in general, I didn't watch it with the WWF at the time. I
mhm.
started watching with
Yes.
WCW Monday Nitro during the prime of the Monday Night Wars. And it feels like that lasted for years and feels like it lasted forever. And for this, for the, just realizing that there's going to be wrestling fans who grow up with AEW, like it's mind-boggling to me. I was actually listening to another wrestling podcast based in Britain, and they were talking about how because of the media rights deals, they actually grew up with TNA during a certain amount of time, just because of how it was airing in the UK. So when people were getting, especially for All In 2 years ago, when Jeff Jarrett came out, everyone was like freaking out. They were like, "Give me some Bree Woo!" Like, what do they know about Bree Woo? Or like, turns out they've been watching TNA for like over a decade at this point, and which is absolutely mind blowing to me. Like the wrestling that I enjoy now with AEW, we're going to have a whole new crowd of people all across the world who are going to be growing up with that, just like TNA and just like I did with WCW Monday Nitro. It is it's very surreal, but also gives me an amazing amount of confidence for AEW going forward. Really do look like they're here to stay.
And that's a good thing. And that's something that just the tribalism fans just really need to understand is having a separate company being an alternative, not just for us fans, but for the wrestlers themselves. That's a very good thing. Uh, and as long as we have these companies, as long as the wrestling involved continues to just put on some just good matches. Granted, the storyline, then the booking still needs work, but that's just something that Tony Khan has to be like, okay, yeah, he's the head, but it's like he has to really expand it with his writing team.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's they're in a great position, and yeah, these guys are here to stay. As much as some people are hoping that they don't, but me as a wrestling fan, I'm glad we have all of this. We have the WWEs, the AEWs, the NXT slash TNA. I wish they could do something to help revitalize Ring of Honor. I was really hoping Ring of Honor would get a good deal, get a good portion of whatever this on this media deal, but it really doesn't look like. I mean, I think we looks like we even are losing Rampage, which, to be fair, I'm not really losing sleep over that one. I mean, it looks like they're just going to do it in place of this new program, Shockwave. That's whatever that's going to be. I think that's going to be the show that's going to be on Fox when they announce that deal.
Which, by the way, that if and when they announce this new deal with Fox, that is above and beyond what we were just talking about with this whole thing with Warner Brothers Discovery. A whole
Mm-hmm.
other thing with Fox, that's going to be even more income coming in for a whole other show. That's going to be absolutely bananas. And just to
Yeah,
see that an AEW show take over the slot on Fox on the Fox network, someone actually pointed this out where they have like a something in their non-exclusive deal that they've got with Warner Brothers Discovery will actually it implies that they actually if Fox actually does pick up an AEW program that they're actually going to need to put it on the main basic cable Fox network, not
yeah, they
like
can't put
FS1.
yeah, they can't put it on the minor offshoot brands. It has to be on the actual network, which is a big deal.
it's a big
Ag-
win for them, and I think it's well deserved. There are just great people working in that company that deserve to make names for themselves outside of the WWE, which it's not a bad thing about being making names outside of WWE. That I think, because and there's nothing wrong with making a name in WWE. That's just because it's been here a lot longer. It's a more well established name, but it's putting AEW on a bigger stage for main casual audience. Now it's just a matter of time. It's like what else can they do to raise up their name? But that's just future AEW things to deal with. But what we have right now, absolute win. I couldn't be any more happy. I couldn't be any more happy for Tony Khan. It just seeing this wrestling fan just taking his company to a new level and new exposure to another mainstream audience. It I'm very happy. I'm very happy where they are. I'm very happy what they got. I'm happy for what we're gonna get for uh what's gonna be available on Max.
Which, by the way, that brings me to the last thing that jumped out to me about this whole story. the pay-per-views being offered on Max at a reduced rate. Now, like Brian, like you said, it was a very pie in the sky thing to expect that they were just going to just post all of their pay-per-view shows just on a streaming service like WWE did. They're they don't have WWE money just yet, so yeah, they're not going to be just offering that for free with a Max subscription. If anything else, like they said, it will be at a reduced rate. But as of right now, they have not announced officially what that reduction is going to be.
I'd probably say like if it's normal, I'd, I'd say like what is it normally? $50?
It is normally about $50, yes.
I'd say it would probably be about 30, 25 to $30. I don't think they can go any lower than that. But but $20 off of it, there'd be less bitching about time if you're only pay if you're paying $30 instead of 50, and 30 instead of 50, when you're probably talking, now that they're going to this service, they're probably doing what, like 10 pay-per-views a year once they go to.
They certainly seem to be looking at that. And frankly, if the price point was $30, I would be absolutely thrilled with that. Because right now, like again, spoiler alert, I'm one of many people who is sharing a a Max account with a friend, specifically, you know, I'm sharing it with Scholar Jeremy, to be frank with you. So like even if we both want to see the show and we're not like even if we're not hosting a watch party like for the Scholars Party Championship or anything like that, even if we're not doing like that, even if the price per pay-per-view was just reduced to like $40 or something like that, I got no problem shooting Scholar Jeremy $20 to watch an AEW pay-per-view when previously I was paying 50 to my cable company. That's a
Hmm.
no-brainer no matter how you slice it.
As someone else who has a subscription to Max, yeah, same. I have that same notion.
Yeah. Again, if it was 30 for all of us to like split it conversely, that would be spectacular. Even so, it's we're all getting out on top with this. It's just a matter of like, okay, how much bang are we going to get for our buck?
Yeah, what this basically means is that for the next 3, possibly 4 years, because there was an option for a fourth year, that's going to make them even more money if they pick it up.
I think they will. I have a feeling they will.
So it's like we have at least 3 more years of the look. It's been a gold mine at least the last, what, 2 years. WWE and AEW have been popping for the last 2 years with good stories and stuff that we never thought we would see again from WWE. Tell tell Stala Tarek 2 years ago that we'd be talking about WWE the way that we are today,
No
where we're
freaking
excited,
way.
where we're excited to actually talk about a pay-per-view called Bad Blood. Whereas 2 years ago we would have been like, oh,
To be
it's a
honest,
minor pay-per-view. This is bullshit.
if you were to told me 2 years ago about this, my 2-year-old self would have been like, "Oh, so when did Vince die?" Because that would have been the only way I would have actually like.
What's the difference?
but but
Well,
now
He
it's
didn't
like,
physically die, his reputation did.
oh
but
yes it
but
does.
now it's like we've got at least 3 more years of this. AEW and WWE, whether you want to call it competition, whether you want to call it alternatives, whatever you want to call it, okay, they're making each other work,
Hmm.
and it's fueling some of the best wrestling that I've ever watched.
Yes, indeed. And like you said, we also, of course, this is Bad Blood weekend for WWE. So, with that in mind, let's stop beating around the proverbial bush here and let's start shedding some blood. Some bad blood, that is.
I don't want to shed some blood. I like to keep my
No,
blood in my
let's get
body. Thank
Are
violent.
you.
Let's get mad.
are you asking me to find a razor and do
It's like I propose a toast. Oh, Black Brothers.
Only if you care to defend your title tonight.
He is defending his title.
Look at me paying attention. All right. Anyway,
No,
Yeah.
with
yeah, I understand why it's hard to see because the challenger decided to take the night off, which is weird that I'm that but you know what? That's neither here nor there. I said I would defend the title against him. I'll do it.
hey,
But
hurricanes
but
hitting us all around the country this week. But anyway, all that trash talk aside, let's just get right into it. This is WWE Bad Blood 2024. And with that, like you mentioned, Scholar Brian, you are the defending champion. You have right of first pick or pass it along to the next person in line for the first match.
I'm feeling dangerous. I'll go first.
Very well.
Thank you, Darkwing Duck.
Very well. So
Let's
let's
get
get
dangerous.
dangerous and let's go into our first match, the presumed opener for this show. We've got CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre in the long awaited Hell in a Cell match. Ryan, your pick up first. Which way you going?
Look, this is pretty straightforward for me. Like I would love it if Drew McIntyre won, but CM Punk is already setting himself up for matches after this, where Drew McIntyre's really just stuck in his own, st- stuck in this feud, while CM Punk is talking about Gunther, CM Punk and Seth Rollins and all that noise. He's got stuff lined up, and I I go back to how this match was made. The match was made because Drew McIntyre destroyed CM Punk after the strap match. And CM Punk really hasn't gotten anything back on him except to announce the Hell in a Cell and to absolutely destroy him on the mic on Raw. Like that was the best CM Punk promo I've heard, quite possibly since he came back to wrestling as a whole. What he said about the Hell in the Hell in a Cell meetup on Monday. I loved every bit of that. And I don't see how you can have anyone except CM Punk win this match. I've got CM Punk to win the Hell in a Cell match and clean end this feud, move on to whatever you're doing next. You had a good run. Don't try to hit it any further. This is a good stop.
I am also going to join you on that. This is probably going to be one of the more predictable matches on this card, in my opinion. This feud has been, the trash talking has been amazing. The trolling, spectacular. The matches, serviceable. Nothing earth shattering like, holy crap, that is match of the year candidate. I really haven't seen anything out of this feud that has quite nailed it. So as good as the trash talk has been, I feel like it's reaching its upper crust, and this needs to be the blow off match. Put the face over, just give it to Punk, and then let's just move on already. With that being said, Tarek, do we have an accord, sir?
We do have an accord. I am also going to go with CM Punk. With the word going on that this actually will be Drew's last match, and then he's going to go on a little hiatus, which, considering all he's done for the past year, long needed, or it's like definitely something worth like earned for him. But yeah, with what Brian said, Punk, they already are having plans for future Punk matches, and Drew can just go off, take some time, go off, get some rest, long needed rest, and yeah, see what we got here. CM Punk.
All right. With that in place, let's move on to our next match, which is for the WWE Women's Championship. We've got Nia Jax defending her title against Bayley. And for this one, I am going to go with Nia Jax to win. But given what we just saw recently, just tonight, actually, as far as what we've, when we're recording this right after SmackDown, given what we've just seen the day before Bad Blood, I think even though we're going to get a Nia Jax victory technically in the match we're predicting, I wouldn't be shocked if we see a cash in from Tiffany Stratton and just kicking off a whole other feud for the title,
Is this
depending
your
on whether
cash
or
in
not the.
prediction?
I thought I already made one this year.
I think you made it for the wait, have you done? I know
I'm pretty
Brian and I.
certain. I'm pretty certain I
I
have
know
made
that
my
I did.
cash in prediction and
Yeah,
it
Brian.
hit.
I know Brian and I have because I predicted Drew McIntyre cashing in on the same night, and Brian predicted SummerSlam. I think your cash in was previous before this, before Money in the Bank. I think you, Pete. I think you, Pete, and Jeremy and Charlie still technically have one.
Hmm. I'll tell you what. I'm not entirely certain that I do. Uh, so yeah, I can't declare right now. But even if I do, if we'll have to look back and see if but I'm pretty certain I did already do a cash in. If I did not, the only thing I can say right now reasonably is that I will hold off, and if for some reason I do find out, hey, I've got a cash in, I will let you know before the show actually starts.
Okay,
Does that work? Okay.
that works fine.
But for now, I'm just gonna go with Nia Jax on our current scorecard to win. Tarek, with that, I'm pitching it over to you. Who you got between Nia Jax and Bayley?
I'm also going to go with Nia Jax to retain here. I don't know about the cash in because I actually think they can still. I think they could still kind of milk the idea of a potential cash in, but um, yeah, I don't see if they were having Naomi go for the title, it may be a different story, but yeah, I'm gonna go with Nia Jax to retain. I actually think she has more in the tank for this title reign.
And with that, Brian's back to you. Which way you going?
Yeah, I really like. I never thought I would say this. I really like what Nia Jax has been doing since she came back to the E. Like she's really shored up her game, if you will, and I still think there's room to roam with this title reign. So I've got Nia Jax over Bayley. I don't see a cash in. I think because based off of the reaction, okay, people are going to go insane when Tiffany Stratton does cash in on Nia Jax. I think there's still room to milk that reaction, as Tarek said. I think we can get that reaction a little bit louder than it is right now. I think you do something like that on a major pay per view, like say Survivor Series, something like that. I don't I think there's still room to milk the story of will she or won't she, and to get that reaction louder because I think you've got by the end of the year I think Tiffany Stratton could be quite possibly the biggest babyface in the company.
Hmm.
Just from listening to the reaction that she got tonight when she was potentially gonna cash in, like that shit's gonna be loud when she actually does. And I think it's too soon for it to happen this weekend. So I've got Nia Jax. I think there might be shenanigans on the other side, like maybe potentially Tiffany Tiffany Stratton trying to help Nia Jax. Naomi comes down and accidentally, while taking out Tiffany Stratton, accidentally distracts Bailey long enough for Nia Jax to beat her. I could see that. So you could
Hmm.
still have Bailey strong and not just completely get getting destroyed by Nia Jax. I think there's shenanigans, but Nia Jax wins.
All right. That'll lead us on to our next match on the card tonight. We've got Damian Priest versus Finn Balor in just a straight up bad blood grudge match. Tarek, it's your pick up next for this one. Who do you got?
All I can say about at both really Judgment Day matches is the sooner these matches end, get these rivalries over, the better. I made it perfectly clear in these last couple of weeks that I've had it with the Judgment Day. I've had it with the Terror Twins going against the Judgment Day. Um, of the two matches, this is one where I would love to go with my heart and pick Finn Balor to win, but unfortunately, that's not going to happen. I'm going to say Damian Priest wins because mainly just how Judgment Day has just been booked to be, as I put it in the show, be the League of Nations to Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley's Roman Reigns. Uh, like I said, I would love to see Finn win. My heart is begging for Finn to win. Because in all honesty, I actually, with where I would see Finn going afterwards, with a potential like going against the Wyatt family, especially with the small hint of what is her name? The doll's name. What was the name of Alexa Bliss's doll?
Oh, Lily?
Yeah, Lily showing up in the background of one Judgment Day segment this past week. Uh, just let's get this over with. I don't know where Damian Priest goes after this, to be quite honest with you, but yeah, I see him picking up the victory and getting the finally putting an end to this Terror Twins Judgment Day, for me, bullshit storyline.
Very interesting. So yeah, that makes one for Damian Priest. Brian, who do you got for this one?
Look, I, I'm basically the same mind as Torek. I would love to say Finn Balor, but just based on the way that this story has been booked, Damian Priest has been taking all the beatings. He's he just took two de gras on Monday. Okay, this is the one for me that is the most obvious of the card, and it did not take long for me to land on Damian Priest winning this match because he has been getting his ass beat ever since Bash at Berlin. That ever since they had that tag team match where everybody was like, "This is the Judgment Day's chance to win," and then the Terror Twins just came out and murdered them on PLE, and ever since then, Damian Priest has been getting his ass beat protecting Rhea Ripley every single Monday night since that show. Okay, so there's no way that Damian Priest doesn't come out on top. No way.
You know what? I went into this thing will be like, okay, you know what? This is gonna be where Finn Balor comes back. This is where he's gonna get his victory and all that stuff. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna turn to the dark side. I'm gonna agree with a lot of you. I'm also gonna go with Damian Priest to win. I cannot. I am not. I too am not gonna follow my heart. I'm going to follow my brain and my cowardice. So yeah, I'm going to go with you, Damian Priest to win. Let's move on already. To our next match, which is for the Women's World Championship, we've got Liv Morgan defending her title against Rhea Ripley with Dominic Mysterio in a shark cage. Hey, we all have our thing, whatever. But let's find out whose thing it is. Brian, it's your pick up next. Who do you got?
Look, we know how this goes. We know how these kinds of thing goes. You get locked in a cage, you somehow find your way out, you distract the person who wanted to put you in the cage, and 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 the other person walks out the winner. I don't, as much as we want this story to end, I don't, I, I don't believe you have both members of a faction win at this show. And just based off of as soon as I, I was of the mind that Rhea Ripley was going to get the title at this show when they first announced it. When they first announced that the match was going to happen, I was like, okay, this is where Rhea Ripley gets her title. But no, we're going to extend this story for another month because you don't put someone in a shark cage and expect them to just stay there the entire time. So Dominic Mysterio has got to find his way out of the shark cage. Rhea Ripley is going to, what's her finisher called?
The Riptide?
Ray, the whole point of this story is everyone wants to see Rhea Ripley hit Dominic Mysterio with the Riptide as many times as she possibly can. He's going to get out of the shark cage. She's going to go for the Riptide. Liv Morgan's going to roll her up from behind, grab, pin her Rhea Ripley style, and retain the title for another month, and then Rhea Ripley will get it back at the Survivor Series or whenever they have the blow off match. Because yeah, you don't put that stipulation just to have Rhea Ripley come in and destroy Liv Morgan. That's not how it works.
Yeah, because let's be real, this entire feud has never been about Rhea and Liv. It's always been Rhea and Dom. And the big money feud ending match that has to happen at some point in the near future is not Rhea versus Liv, it's Rhea versus Dom. And given that we're only a stone's throw away from Survivor Series, I think that's going to be your big money match for Survivor Series. But to get there, yeah, Liv's got to retain. Dominic Mysterio shenanigans as you do. It's paint by numbers, pretty predictable, but given the setup, it's I think this one's going to be very hard to be not be entertaining. So I too am going with Liv and Tarek. With that, do we have an accord, sir?
That's the thing. I'm not even sure because I was gonna go with Rhea Ripley to win this one, just because I think it's now him being with Dom being put in the shark cage is just poetic justice of him being sent having that one night in jail. Uh, but it's also with the shark cage, you also got to remember that the shark cage is going to be lifted up. That's how what they usually do with shark cages. I don't think they're gonna I don't think they're gonna have it where he's gonna be it's gonna be getting out of this shark cage so easily. Um, this is just another me wanting to get this Judgment Day versus Terror Twins storyline over with. Because in all honesty, this is another this is even going for Finn Balor and JD McDonough with the Raw tag team titles. Judgment Day having both of those titles is actually really hurting their respected divisions because Judgment Day only had one title defense. Hell, both of them, Judgment Day and Liv Morgan, both in their title reigns have only one title defense. And hold on, they Ooh, excuse me. They've already established that JD and Finn had over 100 days as tag team champions with only one title defense. I just want to quickly see how long Liv Morgan's been women's champion. Morgan, world championship. Let's see. She is, how long has she been champion? Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I should have looked at this earlier. WWE Women's World Champion. She had, let's see, reigns.
She's only defended against Elena Vega
Yeah, that's what she's only defended it once, but she's held the title combined
since SummerSlam.
since SummerSlam, since August. So it's one of those things. We have a Raw women's division, we have a Raw tag team division that have literally nothing to do because Judgment Day are holding these title hostage. And at this point, I just want them to drop the titles because this is just boring as shit for me. It's the one. It's honestly the one, or in this case, two things on Raw that is just I don't like. And Raw is an excellent show. Has so many great storylines. I mean, hell, that monster brawl was awesome. But in this case, I thought you guys were gonna change my mind. I'm gonna go with Rhea Ripley because it's now just more. Let's just get this shit over with. I'm tired. I'm
And
tired of this storyline. I'm tired of these feuds. I can't for the life of me I can't see these storylines going. And you say this isn't about Liv and Rhea. It really kind of is because it all started with Rhea injuring Liv, Liv coming back and injuring Rhea, and then Liv taking Dom away, taking Judgment Day away from Rhea, but everything away from her. So
storyline wise, I agree with you, but what I was going for is more like the big feud ending money match is not Rhea versus Liv. The big money match is Rhea versus Dom. Like
I'm
it may have started with Rhea and Liv. It absolutely did. But in my view, I think the big feud ending money match to this story, the one that everyone seems to want to see more than anything else, is Rhea and Dom to go one on one. That
I
was the point I'm trying to make.
I'm looking at it like Rio getting the win on Liv, and then with Liv down, Dominic gets Rhea has the shark cage with Dominic lowered down, and then she finally gets her hands on her. I like I said, I can't for the life of me see this storyline going any further. That any further past Survivor Series. On it's there's only so much you can go with this, and I've reached my limit weeks ago.
I
Hell,
can't
last
wait for the rant next week. You
uh
know?
Oh, we'll see. We'll certainly see when we get there. There's a
The
lot of
rant has
things that
got
can
to be
happen.
chef's kiss.
it's gonna be a rant of relief when it actually when Rhea actually holds that title, gets
No,
that title off of Liv Morgan, and it's like finally she can actually defend against other women on this roster.
no, it's got to be Jeff. It's got to be Jeff's rant on Baron Corbin.
I had a rant about Baron Corbin.
Yes,
I don't even I
Okay.
remember his rant about
it was
Roman
either
Reigns. I don't
Baron
remember.
Corbin. It was either you had a rant on Baron Corbin and you had a really good one on Roman Reigns. That's
I
the
don't
one
remember.
that that's the one that Tarek clipped one of them.
He
I clipped the Roman one. I don't even remember the Baron one.
Well, I
That
guess I'm
that
gonna
was
have to go through the scholars archives later. I don't
that
know.
was before the YouTube. That was when we were sitting around the desk. And the three of us were sitting around the desk doing
What was when was this? Is this just when he was like
this was when he was in NXT doing the Lone Wolf gimmick and Baron and Jeff was and Jeff was like he can't wrestle. It was
I
like
have only
right
the
at the beginning.
faintest inkling of this. I don't I
because
don't
it was
remember
10 years
caring about Baron Corbin that
because it
much
was
ever in
10
my
years ago.
life.
Because it was 10 years ago. That's why.
Damn, we've been doing this for a while, haven't we?
Yeah.
Real
Staple of our
NXT
lives. Gotta love it.
NXT Baron Corbin, huh?
I don't
Fucking
remember
Mag
caring that much about Baron Corbin at any point in my life, but hey,
I
Constable
maybe I'm
Corbin,
wrong.
sure. Constable Corbin, sure. But
no,
Lone Wolf?
I I wish we could
Interesting.
go back because it was before YouTube and it was in that little stretch where before when we just started and when we went to YouTube and we were just doing I forget what service we were using.
If it was the podcast version, we used to be on Podbean. If it was the earliest
Yeah, but
version where it was internet radio, I forget where that was hosted.
it was Podbean. It
And
was in between all that, and it was weird because we were just doing our regular show, and then we bought up Baron Corbin on an NXT pay per view, and you went off. I remember this vividly because it was the first time I was like, Jesus, Jeff.
I don't I have only the faintest memory of this occurring. I remember like maybe having some sort of rant or something like that at that time, but woof. I
It was legitimately the first time where it was like you're what you are on screen right now most of the time. It was the first time I had actually seen you legitimately angry at
I wonder what he was
at
doing at the
Baron
time.
someone.
Corbin.
What was
I
he?
just,
Wow.
Was he going
yeah,
for the
it's like,
title or something?
and it came out of nowhere too.
I
I guess maybe it was had something to do with when he was just coming out and squashing people in like 20 seconds. Maybe it has something to do with that.
I don't know. Damn,
Even
now
then,
I want to
I
go
have a
back and
hard time.
look for this.
I have a hard time envisioning that I would care about Baron Corbin of all people that much.
Like
But
I just remember taking the clip of the Roman and just adding and then having the screenshot of Roman posing and then the other side is Jeff just going
I
No,
don't know.
because
Scholar
that
Jeff
one I
versus
wasn't
Roman Reigns.
surprised because that one had been building up for a bit. But
Interesting.
but the Baron Corbin rant just surprised me, and it's I don't remember exactly what was said, but I remember in the back of my mind, okay, do not ever bring up long-haired NXT Baron Corbin,
Now
and
could you
don't
just
bring up
imagine
2016 Roman Reigns.
yes, now I just gotta think how Jeff was when it was Baron Corbin versus Roman Reigns, and the fight was about and the whole feud was about dog food.
Well, at that point, everybody was pissed off.
Well, to be fair, I believe 2016 Roman Reigns kind of does speak for himself. I mean,
Oh yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
we all thought that was bad.
hey,
You just took it that one step further, fool.
Yeah.
I will certainly take your word for it.
Hell, now
But
I want to go
speaking
listen
of
to the Roman
Roman,
Reigns one.
speaking of
It's on
Roman
YouTube. It's on our
Reigns,
channel.
which is going to be a complete like a breath of fresh air. Now we've got our final match of the evening for Bad Blood. We've got Cody Rhodes teaming up with Roman Reigns to take on the Bloodline. This one seems pretty obvious as far as the match is concerned. I think we're gonna get Roman and Cody winning this one, but as far as what happens after the match, I think that will be the much more unpredictable factor. I'm not even gonna claim to know what's gonna happen after the match, but as far as the match itself, I think it's definitely gonna end with Roman and Cody coming out on top. Maybe some more tension there. Maybe there'll be plenty of interference before or after the match, whatever. But the prediction's got to go somewhere, and I'm going to go with Roman and Cody. Tarek, it's your final pick of the evening. Which way you going?
Well, Cody and Roman look like they're gonna have this big win. They're taking out they took out Jacob Fatu in some big fashion. They're now getting rid of they're about to lay the finishing move on Solo Sikoa when all of a sudden the lights go out. Everything starts turning red. Fire starts beaming off the Titantron. Out comes Kane, dressed in his 1997 attire, with the ghost of Paul Bearer walking behind him, and you just hear,
That's gotta be
gotta be
Kane.
Kane.
That's gotta be Kane.
He tombstones everyone, and Solo Sokoa pins up for the win.
And Solo Sokoa pins Kane.
No, Kane is gonna tombstone Roman Reigns, just looking at us like, what year are we in? Tombstone
This
pile
is
driver.
just below Jeff saying El Dandy should have beaten Goldberg.
I'll tell you what, I will allow that to happen in the match only if we can cut to actual Mayor Glenn Jacobs just like in the crowd, just going like, what?
What is this? It's gonna be Luke Gallows, of course, under the mask.
Lord knows he's not doing anything else right now.
Well, he is wrestling in NXT, isn't he?
Like I said, Lord knows he's not doing anything else right now.
Uh, but in all seriousness, yes, Cody and Roman are gonna win, and I think it's gonna lead to a return of The Rock, where he's just. I don't even think anything like physical is really gonna happen. He's just gonna look at Cody, and then he's gonna turn to Roman. He's just looking, what the hell are you doing? Why are you with him against our family type of ordeal? Just start setting up for Survivor Series. But yeah, Cody and Roman are gonna win. Okay,
All right.
big face.
All right.
The big faces of the company wins. Duh.
Enough said. And with that, Brian, it's your final pick of the evening. Do we have another record?
Look, it's Roman's first match back since since WrestleMania. We have a full. It, I would have said we had a full accord, but Tarek had to go with Raya in the last one. But look, this is going to be a match with a whole bunch of shenanigans because that's what these bloodline matches always turn into. I think we get a return of Jimmy Uso. I think we're going to see Kevin Owens. We're going to see Randy Orton. I don't think we get a heel turn yet from either one, but there there's going to be shenanigans. I think that they do a spot where uh, Roman Reigns almost hits Cody Rhodes, but in the end, it's going to be Roman Reigns versus Roman Reigns and Cody to pick up the win. And I think The Rock comes back because he can know. I don't think he comes back on this show, but I do think that they start setting up the idea that uh, I think Solo gets pinned again, and I think they start setting up the idea that the other members of the Bloodline don't believe in Solo Sokoa as their tribal chief anymore, and that'll be what gets The Rock to come back to start setting up War Games. But
Hmm.
and yeah, there's a whole bunch of build up based off of the Pat McAfee and Cody Rhodes thing where it's like the big guy's coming back, huh? I they said they said soon. They didn't say this week or anything like that. So I think The Rock comes back soon, probably on SmackDown. I think he'll come back on SmackDown. I don't think he'll come back on Bad Blood. I think you got to set up the dissension a little bit between the members of the Bloodline. Solo Sikoa takes another loss. Jacob Fatu and the two minions start to not believe in Solo Sikoa, so they bring in the big guns.
All right. And with that, those are our predictions for WWE Bad Blood 2024. But with that, now we want to pitch it over to you, our fellow fans. Join the conversation. Who do you think is going to walk away with a win at Bad Blood? Is The Rock going to come back? How long is this Judgment Day feud going to actually last? Whatever you think, let us know all across the internet. YouTube comments, Facebook posts, social media posts, and the whole schmear, especially when we, yes, even the schmear,
Schmear?
but most of all, you can always join the conversation live with us on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Fool, where can I reach you?
You can reach me, hoping someone at least comes out and rips the door off the cell at the Avatar.
And Scholar Brian, where can I reach you?
You can reach me sitting on top of the mountain looking for the schmear at Atomic Beanfall.
And you can follow me at I'm Robbie Rage, and but not before I get a bagel or something, because I want some schmear, dang it. But anyway, while we're figuring all that stuff out, we're gonna be watching wrestling the whole night through, and we're gonna be enjoying some bad blood. But you already knew that because you know who we are. We are the scholars of wrestling, and you have just been schooled. You're
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 welcome.
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 See you all tomorrow for some bad blood.